Narrative text introduces the phrase people often use in the martial arts world when something absurd happens. A brown-haired woman on a subway train reflects on how much she liked that particular phrase. Looking at her phone, she enjoys the refreshing feeling of a novel protagonist delivering justice with that line. Narrated text observes that every adult living in modern society has likely felt the same way at least once. In a busy office, her boss drops a massive stack of documents on her desk for immediate organization. A thud sounds as she imagines herself striking her boss in a martial arts vengeance fantasy before reality returns. Her boss casually asks if she finished the martial arts novels he recommended while she stands by his desk. She smiles nervously while holding the heavy files, knowing her performance review depends entirely on her boss's whim. The office remains cold and silent as her boss praises books while she realizes she is the only one laughing. A quick thud echoes as she sets the papers down, admitting to herself that the novels were actually fun. She envisions scenes of martial artists drinking on rooftops and sharing romantic moments under blooming cherry blossom trees. A somber vision shows a warrior holding his dying companion on a battlefield, reflecting the weight of their bonds. Lost in a pleasant daydream, the brown-haired woman smiles softly as a warm, sparkling glow surrounds her. A sudden creak sounds as another woman interrupts her thoughts, demanding to know when she will do the laundry. She quickly agrees to go, but realizes with shock that she has become a random extra in a novel. A quick turn follows as the other maid warns her about the sect's lunch tonics being poisonous to servants. A sharp thud sounds as she walks, realizing she is now a lowly servant for the infamous Poison Clan. Standing amidst flowers, the black-haired woman holds a laundry basket while lamenting her role in this deranged household. She considers the reputation of the Tang clan, known for being either shady allies or treacherous, dishonorable foes. The grand estate of the martial aristocratic family is revealed, a place that walks the line between sects. Narrative boxes describe the clan's use of poison and hidden weapons, giving them a cowardly and unlikable reputation. A loud thwack sounds as she aggressively washes clothes in a wooden tub, frustrated by her sudden possession. She sits by the laundry tub with a paddle in hand, dismayed at being a simple laundry washing servant. A morning creak sounds as the other maid wakes her, and she groans that this possession is pure torture. A rhythmic thumping sounds as she beats the laundry, comparing her life as a corporate slave to actual slavery. A thud sounds as she complains about the lack of moral codes while the other maid mocks her. A quick turn follows as the older maid, Song-ji, tells her she must wash clothes at the proper area. In a small chibi thought, she complains about the heavy laundry while imagining the angry faces of the elders. A tired sigh escapes her as she follows Song-ji, admitting that she still hasn't memorized the palace paths. Song-ji informs her of a mandatory gathering at the clan office before lunch, and she tiredly agrees. A steady thumping of footsteps sounds as she walks alone, still having no idea which story she has entered. She feels completely doomed, realizing she has no money, no power, and no backing in this new world. A gentle rustle of leaves sounds as she gazes up at a tree, wondering if she can even survive. A confused rustling sounds as she looks around the courtyard, realizing she is completely lost once again. Standing before a tall pagoda, she wonders aloud why she cannot find the simple laundry area. She crouches on the ground in despair, embarrassed to be a servant who gets lost at her own workplace. A young man in fine green robes appears, and she realizes he is a high-ranking member of the clan. She gasps in surprise, recognizing that the green robes are a sign of significant status within the Tang household. Narrative text explains that only acknowledged martial artists wear green, meaning the boy greatly outranks a simple servant. She bows low and apologizes for being lost, identifying him as a direct descendant of the powerful Tang clan. The young master stares at her with a judgmental hum, making her feel insulted by his silent arrogance. A quick step sounds as he calls her a dumb woman and orders her to follow him to the laundry. A sliding sound follows as she grumbles about the lack of manners even among the children of this clan. Rhythmic thumping sounds as she follows closely behind the young master through the tiled courtyard of the estate. He points out the laundry area, which was right in front of her, leaving her stunned at her own blindness. She thanks the young master with a bright and relieved smile, happy to have finally reached her destination. He warns her to memorize the paths quickly or she will starve, and she meekly accepts his advice. As he starts to walk away, he pauses and asks her what her name is. She smiles brightly and begins to answer, but she suddenly stops mid-sentence as a realization hits her. Panic sets in as she realizes that after 3 days, she still doesn't actually know her own character's name. The dark-haired woman avoids answering by claiming her name is unworthy of the young master's memory. The young master dismisses her with a wave, and she chirps her agreement while hauling her heavy laundry. A sudden swoosh sounds as she sprints away, relieved to have escaped the young master's questioning. A steady thumping of footsteps sounds as a man in green robes approaches the young master from behind. The man with a goatee announces his arrival, responding to the young master's earlier summons. Standing before a shadowy dragon aura, the young master acknowledges the man as Elder Tang Zheng. Looking toward the distant exit, the elder curiously asks about the identity of the woman who just left. The elder watches Sohee depart, dismissively noting that she looks like a very ordinary servant. The young master gazes after her with a focused expression, silently doubting that she is truly ordinary. The scene shifts to the sunlit rooftops of the Grand Tang clan estate as the day continues. Sohee sighs over the never-ending pile of laundry, feeling the physical strain of her new life. She stops and gasps in surprise, noticing a large crowd of fellow servants gathering in the courtyard. A fellow maid calls out to Sohee, urging her to hurry to the mandatory gathering at the Gwangawan. Sohee's older companion, her Ani, grabs her hand and tells her to stay close during the assembly. The two women stand at attention as a commanding voice asks if everyone has arrived for the meeting. Rhythmic footsteps sound as the head steward and a stern woman in green robes approach the gathered servants. Sohee notices the woman in the green robe, wondering why a maid would be wearing such high-ranking colors. Her companion whispers that the woman is Madame Jin, making Sohee realize she is facing a superior. Sohee learns that Madame Jin has been appointed as the new head of the maids. The head steward announces to the crowd that the summit of the 5 great clans is approaching soon. Sohee reacts with a start, recognizing the legendary event from the martial arts novels she once read. She reflects on the concept of the great clans, powerful families that dominate the martial world's history. Thinking of the stories, Sohee wonders if the famous Namgung clan will be attending this prestigious summit. The steward warns the servants that the pride of the great Sichuan Tang clan is at stake. Madame Jin commands the group to get moving, threatening anyone who dares to slack off during preparations. Sohee asks her Ani to identify which groups currently make up the world's 5 great clans. Her Ani lists the Sachian Tang and the Namgung clans as central powers of the martial world. She adds the Hebei Peng, Murong, and Zug clans to the list, completing the classic lineup. Rhythmic footsteps sound as Sohee learns the summit rotates hosts annually and is finally returning to them. Her Ani pinches Sohee's cheek, teasing her for forgetting basic facts about the clan she grew up in. Rubbing her sore face, Sohee agrees to hurry so they don't miss their chance to eat lunch. Despite the grueling work ahead, Sohee feels a spark of genuine excitement about seeing the legendary clans. A sharp thud sounds as she beats the laundry, wondering why she is excited about being a slave. The scene shifts to the riverbank where Sohee continues her laundry while grumbling about her lowly fate. She stops her work and stares in shock as she notices a familiar figure nearby. Sohee feels anxious as she watches the young master sitting casually on a rock near her workplace. She warns him that a person of his status shouldn't visit the laundry, but he arrogantly dismisses her. The young master ignores her protests and asks if she is doing all right with her tasks. Sohee admits that the labor is tough while she continues to strike the wet fabric with her paddle. He tells her she looks fine, but she insists that the physical work is genuinely difficult. The young master points out that she is washing clothes stained with deadly poison and remains unharmed. He explains that an ordinary person would be in critical condition just by touching the tainted fabric. Sohee freezes in terror, staring at the laundry with wide eyes as the danger finally sinks in. A splash sounds as she recoils, screaming at him for waiting so long to reveal the lethal poison. Panic-stricken, she looks at her hands and asks if she needs an antidote to survive the exposure. The young master walks away, casually assuring her that she is perfectly fine and hasn't been poisoned. He explains that poisoned clothes are normally burned, making her wonder why she was ordered to wash them. With a dark, knowing smile, the young master reveals that someone is clearly trying to kill her. A heavy thud sounds in her mind as Soye stands paralyzed by the terrifying realization of the threat. Trembling with fear, she wonders why a mere maid would be targeted for assassination in this strange world. Soye winces as a sudden, sharp flick from the young master's finger snaps against her forehead. The young master laughs off his dark joke, leaving Soye utterly bewildered about her actual safety. He dismissively suggests the other maids were simply bullying her by providing the tainted, purple-stained robes. Sohye stands frozen in realization, horrified that her coworkers would stoop to such lethal, poisonous pranks. Gazing intently, the young master informs her that an antidote will not be necessary for her survival. He asks if she feels any ill effects, and a tiny Sohye confirms she feels perfectly fine. He explains that in this clan, poison permeates everything, even the very air within the inner halls. Servants frequently cough and suffer from the environmental toxins that drift through the estate's sprawling corridors. To combat this, workers endure weekly training involving the consumption of a vile medicinal poisoned tonic. So he recalls the disgusting drink from yesterday, realizing with a start that it was actually a poison. She channels her frustration into her work, vigorously beating the purple laundry with her wooden paddles. The young master admits he only visited because she was fascinating, leaving Sohye feeling like a specimen. He orders her to report the trickery to Madame Jin before walking away across the rocky riverbank. His green robes billow as he departs, leaving Sohye alone to process the danger she narrowly escaped. The young master pauses with a sharp, lingering look, his expression unreadable as he glares into the distance. Despite her doubts, Sohye sighs and decides to tackle the remaining pile of laundry one last time. Entering the office, Sohye finds Madame Jin and the elder diligently working at their respective wooden desks. Madame Jin stops mid-stroke, her nose wrinkling as a sudden, pungent odor of poison fills the room. Staggering in with the heavy tub, Sohye loudly announces she has an urgent matter to report. Madame Jin stands in outrage, demanding to know why a lowly maid brought filthy laundry into the office. The elder calmly intervenes, reminding everyone that poisoned robes should have been disposed of, not washed. Sohye identifies the specific toxin as oleander, causing Madame Jin to recoil in shock at the revelation. Slamming her hand down, Sohye desperately explains that her pleas for help were ignored by everyone else. She apologizes for the intrusion, her face flushed with the strain of her duty and the heavy laundry. Sohye stands firm in the center of the grand office, presenting the evidence of her attempted assassination. Madame Jin stammers in surprise, insisting she never gave such dangerous orders to the laundry staff. Standing up, the elder tells her to put the waste down and asks if she needs medicine. As he approaches, Sohye sheepishly accepts the offer while the elder looms over her with intense focus. He asks for her name, his eyes searching her face with a strange, burgeoning sense of recognition. Sohye stares back, stunned by the sudden personal interest from such a high-ranking member of the clan. The atmosphere turns heavy with unspoken emotion as the elder looks down at the small, dark-haired girl. He covers his mouth, visibly shaken, and tells her to leave the laundry and depart immediately. Madame Jin looks on with concern as the elder commands her to investigate the matter thoroughly. Sohye bows low and prepares to take her leave, her heart racing as she prepares to go. A quick, light thumping sounds as Sohye skips away, overjoyed to be finished with the lethal laundry. Her celebration is cut short as a firm hand suddenly claps onto her shoulder from behind. Madame Jin gazes at her with a trembling expression, whispering Sohye's name as if seeing a ghost. Startled, Sohye confirms her identity while the older woman looks increasingly emotional and distraught. Madame Jin asks if she is truly the daughter of Choryeon, her voice cracking with disbelief. Sohye admits she is an orphan, but Madame Jin insists her bloodline is unmistakable through her face. A vision of a beautiful, regal woman appears as Madame Jin laments not finding Sohye much sooner. Madame Jin's eyes fill with tears as she holds Sohye's hands, grieving the girl's hard life. So-hee feels a chill of unease as the conversation shifts toward the powerful patriarch of the clan. Madam Jin insists on seeing her quarters immediately, her protectiveness flaring up with intense motherly energy. She promises to provide everything So-hye needs, sweeping her away toward the residential area of the estate. Her expression hardens into a mask of fury, incensed that a child of her bloodline was mistreated. Looking at the room, Madam Jin calls it cramped, though So-hye finds it quite spacious and comfortable. Madam Jin apologizes for the delay in moving her, but So-hye meekly tries to decline the special treatment. A sudden, soft rustle sounds as Madam Jin pulls So-hye into a tight, emotional embrace. Madam Jin bids her a soft farewell for now, leaving a stunned So-hye alone in her room. So-hye peeks through the door, finding her older companion Songji standing in the middle of the quiet room. A sudden, quiet sound startles the older maid, who turns to find So-hye playfully surprising her from the doorway. Songji asks why Madam Jin visited her, but So-hye brushes off the inquiry with a simple, casual shrug. So-hye's expression turns serious as she asks why her companion never mentioned the laundry was laced with lethal poison. The older maid looks baffled, claiming So-hye previously insisted that the toxic clothing wouldn't affect her at all. Confusion washes over a tiny So-hye while Songji teases her, joking that she must have lost her memory completely. Recalling their past, Songji reminds So-hye that she once refused to report the bully's cruel and wicked tricks. A sharp, quick flick sounds as Songji snaps So-hye's forehead, scolding her for blaming others for her choices. Rubbing her sore head, So-hye listens as her companion complains about her lack of gratitude for her constant worry. With a sudden light reach, Songji smiles and asks if that specific encounter led her to report to Madam Jin. A soft, rhythmic potting sounds as Songji praises her and suggests they finally go eat their overdue dinner. So-hye reflects on the mysteries of her past life and Madam Jin's belief that the clan patriarch is negligent. She recalls the grueling labor of washing the purple-stained poisoned robes, a task she can no longer ignore. A quiet rustle sounds as So-hye contemplates the irony of transmigrating into the body of an ordinary servant girl. A stern maid approaches, crossing her arms as she assigns So-hye the task of cleaning the clan's training grounds. So-hye realizes these are the bullies she was warned about, sensing their malicious intent behind the new chore. The group of maids laughs mockingly, plotting a more dangerous plan since the poisoned laundry failed to kill her. Looking down at the sprawling training grounds, So-hye is struck by the sheer cruelty of her coworkers' relentless schemes. Defiantly, So-hye refuses the task, stating she will no longer tolerate the mistreatment her predecessor once quietly endured. A sudden, sharp tap sounds as the bullies recoil in shock at So-hye's unexpected and bold backtalk. With a cold, mocking gaze, the lead bully points out that So-hye's poison resistance makes her the perfect target. So-hye stands her ground, arguing that if the training area is truly dangerous, no one should be forced to enter. The lead bully stares intensely at her hand, her silence adding a layer of tension to the heated confrontation. Horrified, So-hye gasps as the bullies escalate their threats, realizing the situation has turned much more dire and personal. The bullies loom over her with dark smiles, threatening to send Songji to the training grounds if So-hye refuses. A heavy thud sounds in So-hye's heart as she realizes the original girl only took the bullying to protect Songji. She envisions Songji working alone, understanding the heavy burden placed on the girl who has always been her ally. Recalling Songji's kindness, So-hye accepts her fate and prepares to enter the training grounds to ensure her friend's safety. Stealing her resolve, So-hye agrees to the task, though she admits she has no idea where the grounds are. The bully thrusts an entry token and a broom at So-hye, demanding she get to work on the cleaning immediately. Dismissively, the group gives her directions, ordering her to clean the inner sect's grounds without any further delay. A sharp, firm clench sounds as So-hye grips her broom, enduring one last threat before heading toward her destination. Arriving at the inner gate, So-hye is met by a stern guard who asks if she plans to enter. The guard examines her access pass and tells her to hurry through, allowing her into the restricted inner city. So-hye finds herself lost within the breathtaking beauty of the inner city's gardens, a stark contrast to the outer wards. She marvels at the grandeur, noting that this elite area is reserved only for high-ranking members and the direct family. As she wanders, something catches her eye. causing her to stop and gaze into the lush, flowering landscape before her. The sight of vibrant blossoms leaves Sohei breathless, her broom forgotten as she takes in the spectacular scenery. Her face lights up with genuine wonder, the harshness of her life momentarily forgotten in the beautiful surroundings. A soft, light rustle sounds as Sohei reaches out, unable to resist touching the delicate red flowers blooming nearby. A loud, sudden stomp sounds as a man shouts from the shadows, demanding to know who is trespassing there. Startled, Sohei slips on the bank, a loud splash sounding as she screams while falling toward the lotus pond. A firm, quick catch sounds as the young master suddenly appears, grabbing her before she can fall into the water. The young master breaks into a bright, mischievous grin, clearly amused by the maid's unexpected and clumsy arrival. Flushed and confused, Sohei recognizes him instantly, stuttering out his title as she remains frozen in his arms. A loud, angry yell sounds as the guard, Gunmyung, berates her for daring to speak so casually to nobility. The young master commands Gunmyung to stop, finding Sohei's presence far more entertaining than the strict sect protocols. Gunmyung relents while the young master asks where she got lost, noting that she seems to be bullied quite often. Realizing why she was sent there, the young master tells Sohei to follow him to the martial training hall. He orders Gunmyung to stay behind, taking personal charge of the lost maid as they walk toward her destination. The stern guard Gunmyung threatens Sohei with discipline, while the nervous maid insists she is already behaving properly. The green-robed young master approaches, wondering why Sohei is taking so long as she fumbles with her broom. Blossoming red flowers frame the scene as the young master leads Sohei through his restricted personal garden. Sohei grips her broom tightly, realizing Gunmyung likely viewed her presence as a trespass by a common intruder. Leaning in close, the young master teases Sohei, asking if she is truly lost or just pretending to be. A glowing blue snake aura rises behind the young master as he finds Sohei's mysterious nature increasingly strange. A sharp pinch to her cheek makes Sohei cry out, while the young master questions her true identity. Tears well in Sohei's eyes from the painful pinch, her distress mounting under the young master's intense scrutiny. A sudden, sharp gasp sounds as the young master releases her, leaving Sohei screaming in the quiet garden. Sohei collapses onto the stone path, sobbing loudly while the young master offers a hand to help her up. Sohei berates the young master, arguing that his gentle hold was painful enough to make breathing difficult. Shaking her head, a tearful Sohei refuses to stand, her cheeks still red from the man's rough interrogation. With a sudden lift, the young master announces he will personally carry Sohei to the martial training hall. A heavy thud sounds as Sohei is carried like luggage, mortified to be handled like the nearby storage boxes. The young master offers Sohei a snack as they walk, amused to see her eating while she works. Presenting a large pastry, the young master apologizes through food, much to Sohei's confusion regarding his endless supplies. Sohei munches on the treat, realizing the young master's generosity might ruin her appetite for a proper dinner. A soft rustle sounds as more food emerges from the young master's sleeve, leaving Sohei questioning his magical abilities. Hidden behind the foliage, the duo overhears Bukyung complaining about a lingering grudge to another unseen party. Sohei's eyes widen in horror as she learns she might be cleaning the training hall deep into the night. A quick, high-pitched whistle sounds as a projectile suddenly streaks through the air toward the unsuspecting Sohei. A sharp, deadly dagger flies with lethal precision, targeting Sohei as she stands frozen in the garden path. Sohei's instincts flare as she catches the flying dagger midair, her eyes wide with shock at her own reflexes. Sparkles surround the young master as he praises Sohei's impressive speed, taking the weapon back into his hand. Examining the blade, Soya stands beside the young master, her heart racing from the near-death encounter. Sohei panics upon realizing how close she came to dying, though the young master dismisses it as a minor wound. With a calm smile, the young master reaches out, offering to heal Sohei's hand with his spiritual power. Sohei hesitantly places her hand in his, still trembling from the intensity of the sudden martial attack. Brilliant blue chi flows from his fingers into hers, a warm energy pulsing through her palm as he heals her. Enveloped in a glowing aura, Sohei feels the chi spreading, while the master notes her exceptional sensitivity to energy. Sohei looks baffled by the mention of internal strength, holding her glowing hand as the energy settles within her. The young master beams with a radiant smile, seemingly delighted by So-hye's untapped potential for martial arts. Stunned into silence, So-hye can only offer a confused stare as the world around her seems to shift. The young master makes a bold proposal to teach her martial arts, ignoring So-hye's doubts about clan traditions. Boo-kyung charges forward with a furious yell, outraged that a mere servant might be taught the clan's secrets. So-hye proudly identifies the young master as her teacher, causing the older martial artist to splutter in disbelief. So-hye's imagination runs wild as she envisions the chaos of breaking wuxia traditions and betraying ancient ancestors. Noticing her dazed expression, the young master asks So-hye if she has too many complex thoughts on her mind. So-hye focuses on finding the lost dagger, trying to distract herself from the gravity of the master's offer. Boo-kyung arrives on the scene, questioning the pair about their presence in the restricted training area. The young master's tone shifts as he identifies himself as an old man, demanding respect from the startled Boo-kyung. Boo-kyung bows low in apology, addressing the young-looking man as the legendary elder Dong-jung of the clan. So-hye's heart skips a beat as she realizes she has been casually interacting with the clan's most powerful elder. A vision of a book appears as So-hye recalls the legendary Poison King, a master who regained his youth. Elder Dang-jung pats a terrified So-hye's head, reassuring her that his secret identity wasn't meant to trick her. Unbelievable shock washes over So-hye as she realizes her young master is actually a 150-year-old immortal master. Dang-jung stuns everyone by announcing his intention to adopt So-hye as his daughter, a smile lighting his face. Both So-hye and Boo-kyung recoil in pure shock, their faces twisted in disbelief at the elder's sudden proclamation. Dang-jung shrugs off their surprise, asking if an old man isn't allowed a moment of sentimental connection. Boo-kyung stammers in confusion, pointing out that So-hye is nothing more than an ordinary, lowly servant girl. Elder Dang-jung dismisses the concern over So-hye's bloodline, noting that if she were a Tang, adoption wouldn't be necessary. Declaring his own loneliness, the elder asks for the maid's name, while the guard Gun-myung looks on with visible concern. A sudden, sharp realization strikes the elder as he gazes at So-hye, a soft, curious sound escaping his lips. Dang-jung asks how So-hye writes her name, specifically wondering if she uses characters representing brightness and wisdom. So-hye stares back with a bewildered expression, genuinely confused about the specific person the elder is searching for. Hidden among blossoming white flowers, So-hye's thoughts drift toward her unknown parentage as she admits her lack of family history. Turning away, Dang-jung admits he was mistaken, the shadow of a previous suspicion lingering briefly on his face. The elder scolds So-hye for not knowing the clan head's name and asks if her employment at the estate is recent. Thinking of her secret transmigration, So-hye nervously admits she has only been there for a week while her inner self panics. Ignoring her cleaning duties, Dang-jung insists So-hye follow him to his residence for tea, despite her protests about unfinished work. Gun-myung stands paralyzed by the elder's whim, his face a mask of disbelief at the casual treatment of a servant. A heavy, silent pressure emanates from the elder as he looms over the guard, forcing Gun-myung to accept the situation. Apologizing for her lack of authority, So-hye hands her broom to the distressed guard before following the persistent elder. The scene shifts to a serene courtyard where pink-flowered trees frame a traditional, multi-storied residence under a clear sky. A sudden, loud clatter sounds within the cluttered room, revealing stacks of books and scrolls piled haphazardly across the floor. Dang-jung maintains his pride despite the mess, ordering So-hye to sit while she quietly judges his lack of organization. A soft, rhythmic clink sounds as the elder brings out a tea set, asking if the maid knows how to brew. Admitting she knows nothing of tea, So-hye watches as the elder prepares to teach her, promising she will learn eventually. A quick, light tap sounds as the elder places a cup before So-hye, who offers a polite word of thanks. Framed by glowing blossoms, So-hye takes a tentative sip of the premium tea, unaware of its true value or rarity. A loud, sudden spray sounds as So-hye spits out her tea in total shock, her eyes bulging at the elder's revelation. Finding her reaction hilarious, Dang-jung offers her endless supplies of the tea if she agrees to become his personal disciple. So-hye's skepticism earns her a teasing remark from the elder, who notes her temper is sharper than her quiet appearance suggests. To entice her, the elder promises proper meals, a generous allowance, and protection from the bullying of other estate servants. Humility overcomes Sohei as she protests the offer, arguing that such a high honor is wasted on a mere servant girl. The atmosphere turns cold and oppressive as the elder's eyes glow, his voice dropping as he asks if she is rejecting him. Flailing in panic, Sohei insists she is only afraid of failing his expectations, though the elder considers the matter settled. Ordering her to rest, the elder tells Sohei to return tomorrow evening to begin her secret training after her chores. Dang Jung provides a convenient cover story, telling her to claim she is running errands to avoid any suspicion from others. From the window, the elder insists she eat dinner with him tomorrow, lecturing her on the nutritional needs of a growing warrior. Sunlight fades over the rooftops of the Tang estate, the peaceful scenery belying the secret pact just formed within the walls. A soft, quick bow sounds as Sohei departs the residence, clutching a small green package as she heads into the evening. A light, rhythmic tap sounds as Gunmyung returns to report his findings, confirming Sohei is merely an orphan with a common name. A dark, haunting vision of red spider lilies appears as they discuss a mother and daughter who met a tragic end. Gunmyung details Sohei's unusual poison resistance and her sudden, drastic change in personality over the past 7 days. Standing alone against the sunset, Dang Jung muses on the maid's transformation from a timid girl to an expressive, spirited person. The memory of their first meeting flashes by, highlighting the moment the legendary elder first took interest in the strange girl. Gunmyung suspects she might be a disguised assassin, promising to investigate the possibility of a mask while the elder listens. With a sharp, sudden dash, the guard departs to begin his investigation, leaving the pensive elder alone in the fading light. Symbols of beauty and danger intertwine as the elder wonders if Sohei is a hidden gem or a poison-stained trap. A firm, determined scowl settles on the elder's face as he resolves to uncover the truth of Sohei's identity himself. A long, weary sigh sounds as Sohei walks through the dark, her body aching from the day's bizarre and exhausting events. Reality sinks in for Sohei as she realizes her young master is an ancient immortal, and she is now his disciple. Lamenting her own naivete, Sohei curses herself for so easily believing the elder's youthful appearance in this dangerous world. A soft, muffled sniffle sounds as Sohei cries over her predicament, haunted by visions of the elders teasing and snacks. Despite her exhaustion, a spark of hope remains as Sohei finally identifies the specific martial arts novel she now inhabits. Recalling her past life, she remembers the cover of Namgung Chanha, a book her manager had once recommended to her. Images of the novel's plot flash by, showing a hero winning grand tournaments and restoring his family's fallen honor. The protagonist is revealed as a majestic warrior with long, flowing hair, exuding an aura of calm and absolute authority. Enveloped by a brilliant blue dragon, the legendary hero is hailed by the title of Sword Emperor, the world's greatest master. Sohei struggles to remember the novel's plot, envying other transmigrators who seem to possess perfect recall. The majestic Nam Gung Hui appears, a warrior defined by his immense righteousness and equally terrible manners. Within the novel, Nam Gung Hui casually insults a villain, pushing the man toward a violent martial outburst. Outraged, the villain lunges forward with a lethal sword strike, screaming for the hero's immediate death. Moving with effortless grace, the black-haired warrior smiles as he easily evades the desperate martial attack. A sudden, heavy thud sounds as Nam Gung Hui delivers a crushing counterblow to his opponent's back. Clutching her bundle, Sohei resolves to gather accurate information, knowing her survival depends on understanding this world. So he considers the upcoming gathering of the 5 families, wondering if the legendary Nam Gung Hui will attend. Thoughts of a dangerous, high-poison gift cross her mind as she envisions a meeting with the hero. A glowing golden pearl rests in a luxurious box, representing a turning point in the novel's original timeline. A loud, desperate cry sounds as Chibi Sohei envisions herself being boiled by the deceptive Tang Jung. Walking home after sunset, Sohei feels a deep sense of frustration before another servant calls her name. A soft, muffled sniffle sounds as Sohei apologizes to the worried maid for her late arrival. Exhausted and unwell, Sohei collapses onto her bed while her companion urges her to rest and recover. Staring at the ceiling, Soye wonders if mindless obedience is the only way to survive her current predicament. A new morning arrives, and a soft, rhythmic sweeping sounds as Sohye continues her duties at the estate. Tang Jung approaches, explaining his decision to meet her now to avoid any scandalous misunderstandings after dark. With a playful grin, the elder announces that Sohye will now be responsible for cleaning his private chamber. Sohye's imagination flares with a terrifying roar as she recalls rumors of the elder's legendary fussy temper. Tang Jung dismisses her fears, asking her to set aside the broom and offer him her hand. A soft, tentative touch sounds as Sohye places her hand in his, awaiting the next strange request. Examining her small palms, Tang Jung resolves to feed her more, noting she needs to grow for combat. A light metallic clink sounds as the elder places a gold coin in her hand, ordering a throw. Sohye looks toward the distance, asking for a target as the elder prepares a daunting martial test. Tang Jung points toward a red cloth tied to a far-off tree, challenging the maid to hit it. Doubting her own strength, Sohye protests that the target is far beyond her capabilities as a common servant. With a confident smile, Tang Jung brushes off her concerns and insists she attempt the impossible throw. Sohye winds up, fully expecting the coin to fall harmlessly to the ground before reaching the tree. A sudden, sharp whoosh sounds as Sohye releases the coin with a surge of unexpected physical power. A loud, violent crack sounds as the coin shreds the red cloth and sinks into the wood. Both master and disciple stare in silence at the result, the girl completely baffled by her own success. Undeterred, Tang Jung points to a blue cloth even further away, demanding another demonstration of her skill. Hoping the first hit wasn't a fluke, Sohye focuses her strength and prepares for the second toss. A heavy, resonant thud sounds as the second coin finds its mark with even greater destructive force. Tang Jung beams with delight at her hidden talent, while Sohye stands paralyzed by her own developing power. A soft, encouraging pat sounds as the elder tells her to go and retrieve her discarded ammunition. A quick, rhythmic tapping sounds as Sohye runs toward the target, her heart pounding with disbelief. Reaching the tree, Sohye stares at the blue cloth, questioning if she truly possesses such innate martial talent. A sharp intake of breath sounds as Sohye realizes the coin is buried deep within the solid trunk. Memories of tireless labor flash by as Sohye understands her past stamina was actually a sign of genius. Shadows of a powerful martial lineage loom over Sohye as she considers the parents she never knew. A heavy, anxious silence falls as Sohye clutches her chest, feeling the weight of her mysterious identity. A soft, steady sweeping sounds as Sohye begins her morning chores, her dual life finally taking shape. The afternoon sun beats down as a constant, rhythmic whirring sounds from Sohye's relentless coin practice. Night falls as Sohye diligently studies, the soft, quick scratching of a brush sounding as she memorizes texts. A long, weary groan sounds as Sohye collapses, her body pushed to its absolute limits by the training. A soft, muffled whimper sounds as Sohye cries from exhaustion, her new life proving to be incredibly difficult. A sudden, sharp splash sounds as a coin hits a fish, revealing the practical purpose of her training. Walking together, Tang Jung lectures Sohye on the importance of mastering variables like wind and distance. Surrounded by irises, Tang Jung holds a coin aloft, explaining the subtle science behind the art of hidden weapons. A sudden, sharp splash sounds as Sohye attempts to hit a clever carp with a gold coin. Tang Jung explains that the art of memorization is a refined discipline they must both strive toward. Teasing Sohye, Tang Jung compares her potential beauty to the crude strength displayed by ordinary swordsmen. A soft, quick swish sounds as Tang Jung promises Sohye will eventually understand the joy of mastery. A light, metallic clink sounds as Tang Jung hands Sohye a pouch, ordering her to catch fish. Tang Jung dismisses Sohye's worries, vowing to make her practice the coin tossing until she finally succeeds. Several gold coins fall, representing the foundational exercises required to learn the Tang family's secretive arts. A rapid, rhythmic whirring sounds as Sohye frantically throws coins, begging for at least one hit. A heavy, resonant splash sounds as the carp evades Sohye, their movements growing swifter from constant practice. Exhausted and unwell, Sohye collapses onto the floor while the senior maid insists she move to bed. Sohye pleads to sleep where she fell, but the senior maid continues cleaning the messy room. A man's voice calls out from the darkness, causing a startled Sohye to wonder who is visiting. A sharp, sudden thud sounds as the senior maid urges a confused Sohye to greet the young master. Sohye quickly heads for the door, prompted by her companion to meet the son of Lord Dam. A soft, rhythmic creak sounds as Sohye opens the door to find a handsome man waiting outside. Sohye politely asks why the young master has come all the way to her quarters so late. The man finds her formality cold, requesting that Sohye call him Brother One as she did before. Despite her visible hesitation, the persistent Brother One insists on using his familiar name during their meeting. A radiant, joyful smile breaks across Brother One's face as Sohye finally relents to his friendly request. Sohye internally questions Brother One's strange behavior while he mentions his long journey through the martial world. A soft, quick swish sounds as Brother One reaches into his green robes to present a gift. A light, metallic clink sounds as Brother One presents an ornate butterfly hairpin to the shocked girl. Sohye panics, recalling that giving a hairpin signifies a marriage proposal in the world of her novels. Brother One asks her to keep the gift secret, leading Sohye to suspect he is a philanderer. Humility overcomes Sohye as she tries to reject the precious gift, finding it far too valuable for her. Brother One urges Sohye to try the hairpin, noting that he brought it specifically from Hubei. A soft, firm rustle sounds as Brother One grips the gift, apologizing for making Sohye feel uncomfortable. Brother One smiles gently, explaining his simple wish was just to give her something special from his travels. Brother Woon offers a small snack instead, which a relieved Sohye agrees to accept as a compromise. A soft, gentle pot sounds as Brother One hands over a green pouch, and Sohye thanks him. Brother Woon takes his leave, telling Sohye to return inside and get some rest for the night. Before departing, Brother Woon reminds Sohye that she can always come to him in times of need. A soft, rhythmic tap sounds as Brother One walks away, leaving Sohye feeling conflicted about his kindness. A quick, sudden swish sounds as Sohye turns to the senior maid, who asks for the details. The senior maid notes that Brother One came straight to see Sohye immediately after arriving in Chengdu. A light, rhythmic creak sounds as the senior maid mentions the upcoming gathering of the 5 families. A sharp, sudden top sounds as the senior maid observes that Sohye has seemed rather strange lately. Sohye blames her demanding work for her hazy state, and both girls finally head to bed together. The Tang estate buzzes with activity as servants prepare for the arrival of the great family guests. A constant, rhythmic whirring sounds as Sohye continues her coin practice despite the chaotic festivities surrounding her. Tang Zheng warns Sohye about the arrogant men from other families who rely only on their bloodlines. A dark, menacing aura surrounds Tang Zheng as he suggests a harsh punishment for anyone bothering Sohye. Tang Zheng tells Sohye to invoke his name or find Gunmyung if she encounters any trouble soon. A sudden, sharp whoosh sounds as Sohye throws a coin, worrying about her lack of outside information. A loud, violent splash sounds as the carp dodges again, frustrating Sohye's attempts at catching it. A soft, quick swish sounds as Sohye continues her practice, lamenting the difficulty of catching the fish. A sharp, sudden gasp sounds as Sohye stops her throw, noticing someone watching her from a distance. A soft, quick intake of breath sounds as Sohye stares at the mysterious onlooker in complete silence. A young boy in blue and white robes stands nearby, his intense gaze fixed on Sohye's training. Sohye realizes the boy is a stranger, noting that his attire doesn't belong to the Tang family. The boy with blue eyes asks if she understands, while privately wondering if she is a guest's child. Standing by a pond, the boy instructs the confused Sohye on the proper technique for catching fish with projectiles. Suddenly, the black-haired boy grabs Sohye's wrist, criticizing her slow movements and taking control of the gold coin. He pulls her toward the water's edge, insisting she focus and watch his demonstration to learn the proper form. With a swift motion, he launches the gold coin directly toward a large koi swimming peacefully in the pond. The coin strikes the white and orange fish squarely on the head, sending a small splash of water upwards. Feeling smug about his success, the boy boasts while Sohye politely acknowledges his seemingly pointless display of martial skill. Indignant at her lack of enthusiasm, the black-haired boy asks if she even knows who he is. So-hye retorts that he is a rude trespasser, guessing he must be a guest visiting the Tang clan estate. Shocked by her bluntness, the boy clutches his chest, completely caught off guard by her bold and fearless assessment. Realization dawns on So-hye as she identifies him as Namgung Hui, the legendary protagonist from the original story's timeline. She notes that his youthful appearance suggests they are currently much earlier in the timeline than the main events. Rubbing her temple, So-hye decides to address him formally as young master and worry about the timeline complications later. He demands respect, and she begrudgingly acknowledges his future importance as the cornerstone of the prestigious Namgung clan. So-hye sharply critiques him, stating that spying on another clan's private training is highly improper for a young master. The boy remains speechless, his eyes wide with shock at being scolded so directly by a mere servant girl. So he considers using the Grand Elder's name to handle the situation if the young master continues being difficult. Surprisingly, the boy stammeringly apologizes, leaving So-hye stunned by his sudden and unexpected shift in attitude. He notices her bruised wrist and asks if it hurts, showing a surprising moment of genuine and soft concern. He offers to provide medicine, but So-hye politely declines and suggests guiding him back toward the guest hall. Insisting she take the medicine, he explains that his uncle personally crafted the high-quality salve for his use. Observing his behavior, So-hye realizes he likely wandered off and got lost simply because he was feeling hungry. He shouts for her to use the bruises healing medicine as he follows her back toward her living quarters. Inside the reception room, So-hye watches him sit at the table, amazed he actually followed her all the way. So-hye wonders if the Grand Elder will be angry, yet she considers offering the bold boy a small snack. He explains that his uncle Wanryong is the head of the medicine hall, making his salve exceptionally trustworthy. So-hye gazes at the ornate silver container, realizing someone of her status would normally never see such a luxury. Gratefully accepting it, she thinks about sharing the medicine with Sister Songji to help heal her weary hands too. He continues his bossy behavior, but So-hye maintains a pleasant smile, finding his childish arrogance to be somewhat amusing. He asks about lunch and suggests they eat together, ignoring the social boundaries between their respective ranks and roles. So-hye expresses concern, noting that it would be improper for a young master to share a table with a servant. He mentions his sister Yeyona often has tea with her maid Gyogyo, making So-hye feel even more confused. He clarifies the names of his family members while So-hye simply nods, realizing he assumes she knows them all. So-hye concludes that he must be starving and decides to feed him a proper meal before he finally leaves. So-hye offers to arrange a meal right there, prompting a bright and joyful reaction from the hungry boy. Excitedly, he nods in agreement, his previous arrogance replaced by the pure, honest anticipation of a hungry child. Seeing his serious focus, So-hye laughs softly, assuming he must be under the watch of very strict family members. He looks slightly flustered, and So-hye reflects on the fact that the powerful protagonist is currently just a baby. So-hye serves a variety of colorful dishes and asks if he has ever traveled outside of the Sichuan region. So-hye mentions her lifelong residence in Dingtata, and Namgung Hui encourages her to visit the beautiful province of Anhui. While arranging the food, So-hye asks if this visit marks his first time traveling to the Sichuan province. He recounts how he wanted to visit 5 years ago, but his protective older sisters wouldn't allow it. A flashback shows him as a small child near a horse, while So-hye asks for his current age. He proudly declares that he is 13 years old, his face beaming with a bright and youthful energy. So he reveals she is 15 and contemplates his future role as the story's destined and powerful protagonist. He mutters in disappointment about their age gap, leaving So-hye puzzled by his sudden and strange shift in mood. He explains that as an only son with 3 older sisters, he is constantly coddled and watched over. Haha, So-hye laughs, joking that whoever eventually marries him is doomed to deal with 4 demanding sisters-in-law. He grumbles about being treated like a child even though he feels grown, poking idly at his warm food. So-hye reassures him that their constant attention stems from deep love and a genuine worry for his well-being. The blue-robed boy reflects on his father's travels while acknowledging this is his first time leaving Anhuni. A soft, quick swish sounds as the boy and So-hye share a meal in a quiet, traditional room. A sudden, sharp sounds as Sohee watches the boy react poorly to the intense spice of the food. The boy gasps for air while Soye looks on in shock, worriedly addressing him as the young master. Coughing violently, young Lord Namgung struggles with the heat as Sohye notes the notorious spiciness of Sichuan cuisine. Sohye offers to bring tea or remake the dish with milder seasoning to help the suffering boy. The boy stubbornly refuses any help, insisting his clan never backs down, though Sohye finds his behavior childish. Sohye reflects on how easy the boy is to read, comparing the experience to her meeting with Elder Tangjung. A soft, quick gulp sounds as the boy hurriedly finishes his drink while Sohye observes his persistent nature. The boy asks if Sohye has tried Anhui food, hoping to share the virtues of his home region's flavors. Sohye admits she hasn't tried it, as the boy praises the milder, refined taste of Anhui's traditional dishes. The boy boasts about a rare tea enjoyed by high-ranking monks, his pride evident as he compares their current meal. Springing to his feet, the boy excitedly demands to see the Sichuan market to satisfy his growing curiosity. Sohye hesitates, reminding the boy that the elder explicitly ordered her not to leave the pavilion area. Looking over the vast estate, Sohye contemplates the complications of her new life and the body she now inhabits. The boy dismisses her concerns, insisting they must sneak out quietly to avoid being caught by his father. Sohye points out that the gate guards will recognize him immediately, making a simple exit nearly impossible. A light, quick leap sounds as the boy demonstrates his plan to simply jump over the high estate walls. Sohye protests her inability to jump such heights, but the boy remains confident that their secret escape will work. Staring at the massive stone wall, Sohye calculates its height and wonders how she could ever follow the boy. A soft, quick swish sounds as the boy beckons from outside, having already cleared the wall with ease. Though she finds the boy's antics exhausting, Sohye eventually decides to follow him through the outer gate. A low, rhythmic chatter sounds as the scene shifts to the vibrant and crowded atmosphere of the local market. A soft, steady tapping sounds as Sohye and the boy walk together through the bustling market street. The boy teases Sohye for being boring, his arrogance showing as they navigate the busy stalls together. Sohye retorts that her caution is practical, reminding him that she lacks his martial ability to clear high walls. The boy playfully offers to carry Sohye on his back, though she worries his recklessness will lead to trouble. Sohye quotes traditional etiquette regarding physical contact, causing the boy to wonder if she has studied the classics. To avoid further questioning, Sohye quickly points out the nearby market and urges the boy to continue their walk. A quick, rhythmic tapping sounds as the boy runs ahead, his focus easily shifted by the surrounding sights. The two stop at a vendor's stall, their eyes drawn to the various goods displayed in the open air. They continue their exploration of the market, blending into the crowd of merchants and other travelers. A sharp, sudden intake of breath sounds as the boy stops, his curiosity piqued by something at a food stall. A friendly vendor woman greets them, offering freshly fried Siba snacks to the young visitors. A soft, sizzling sound accompanies the sight of the white, steaming snacks resting on a green leaf. The boy happily orders 2 portions, showing a rare moment of thoughtfulness by including Sohye in the snack. The vendor requests 5 pun for the food as the boy reaches into his pouch for payment. A sharp intake of breath sounds as Sohye sees a silver ingot, realizing the boy is overpaying significantly. A sharp, sudden tap sounds as Sohye stops the boy's hand, warning him that his payment is far too large. Confusion crosses the boy's face, while Sohye insists on using her own small coins to pay the vendor. Sohye politely completes the transaction, wishing the vendor good business as they take their snacks. They walk away from the stall, both of them eating the fried snacks as they continue their stroll. A soft, rhythmic chewing sounds as the pair walks in silence, though the boy appears somewhat disgruntled. Still sulking, the boy questions why he shouldn't use his silver, failing to understand the risks involved. Sohye patiently explains that such a large amount of money is impractical for a simple street vendor to change. As they walk through the town, Sohye lectures the boy on the dangers of flaunting wealth in public. A dark, menacing energy surrounds the memory of the silver, representing the unwanted attention they likely attracted. Soye warns that displaying such fortune could lead to violent theft or even murder by opportunistic criminals. A sharp, sudden gasp sounds as the boy finally realizes the potential danger his carelessness could have caused. A light, rhythmic tapping sounds as Sohye concludes her lecture, noting that excessive wealth can often bring disaster. Walking away, the young master reflects on his reckless actions, while Sohye listens to his quiet realization. A sudden whoosh sounds as the blue-robed boy turns back, deciding it is time to return home. Rhythmic footsteps sound as the boy leads the way. Despite Sohye's lingering interest in the vibrant market, Sohye worries silently about her earlier words, fearing she may have overstepped during their secret market trip. Returning to the gates, a low chatter sounds as they encounter a group of Namgang clan members. Sohye notices the unexpected crowd at the gate, realizing the Anhui guests are searching for their young lord. The Namgang patriarch spots his son, demanding to know where he wandered off to during his disappearance. A soft thud sounds as the boy bows, admitting to his father that he visited the local market. A firm grip sounds as the patriarch scolds his son for exploring a strange city without any guards. The boy apologizes for his carelessness, while Sohye privately notes his hypocrisy regarding their secret excursion. Turning his attention elsewhere, the patriarch asks the boy to identify the young girl standing by his side. With sudden enthusiasm, the boy requests permission to take Sohye back with them to the Anhui province. Stunned by the abrupt proposal, the patriarch stares at his son in complete and utter disbelief. A sharp gasp sounds as Sohye panics, questioning if the impulsive young master has truly lost his mind. The scene shifts as the three gather indoors to discuss the boy's bizarre and unexpected request. The patriarch clarifies the boy's intent, while the young master praises Sohye's intelligence and worth. Frustrated, the patriarch wonders if his son Sohye's nervousness grows, while the boy remains oblivious to the awkward tension filling the quiet room. Laughing at the absurdity, the patriarch asks the boy if he even bothered to ask Sohye's opinion. The patriarch turns to Sohye, clearing his throat and politely asking her for her name. A soft rustle sounds as Sohye bows, introducing herself while explaining she lacks a formal family surname. Seated on the floor, Sohye reveals her status as an orphan while the two men listen intently. The patriarch asks Sohye directly if she would consider joining their clan and leaving the Tang estate. Sohye respectfully declines, explaining she is currently under the strict guidance of a Tang family elder. Shocked, the patriarch asks if she serves Elder Tangjong, his expression turning sharp with recognition. A sudden whoosh sounds as the boy turns, demanding to know why Sohye would refuse his offer. A dark aura surrounds the patriarch as he warns that the Tang clan ruthlessly cripples those who leave. The patriarch elaborates on the brutal fate of martial artists who attempt to abandon the notorious Tang family. Panicked, Sohye argues that she only knows basic arts while the boy looks on in visible horror. Sohye resolves to remain loyal to the Tang clan, even as the boy's distress continues to grow. Sohye recalls her knowledge of fictional tropes, finding the reality of this martial world far more terrifying. A modern-day memory contrasts the clan's extreme punishments with the mundane consequences of her previous life. A rhythmic tapping sounds as a green-robed man approaches the building, calling out to the Anhui patriarch. Elder Tangjong appears at the window, greeting his old acquaintance and suggesting they dispense with formalities. Noting his ward is inside, Tangjong requests to take Sohye back to their own quarters. A sharp whistle sounds as Tangjong signals Sohye to come out and rejoin him immediately. Sohye's legs tremble as she struggles to rise, complaining about the painful numbness from kneeling too long. Tangjong teases Sohye for her lack of stamina while she reaches out for his assistance. A sudden whoosh sounds as Tangjong tosses Sohye over his shoulder, scolding her for causing trouble. The boy calls out to Sohye, his gaze fixed on her as she is carried away. The young master promises to repay Sohye double for the market snacks during their next meeting tomorrow. Tangjong's curiosity is piqued as he questions Sohye about lending money to the young Namgang lord. A sharp whoosh sounds as Tangjong leaps away, carrying a screaming Sohye across the estate rooftops. Standing alone in the room, the boy stares into the distance, looking troubled by their sudden departure. A constant whoosh sounds as Tangjong speeds through the air, ignoring Sohye's frantic cries of discomfort. Setting her down, Tang Jung listens as So-hye prepares to ask a serious and lingering question. So-hye appears confused and lost in thought as she considers the patriarch's earlier warning about the clan. Tang Jung responds with a casual shrug, his attitude contrasting the heavy nature of their conversation. Rhythmic footsteps sound as they walk, with So-hye mentioning the terrifying rumors she heard regarding the sect. So-hye asks about the tendon-severing punishment, and Tang Jung admits he's never seen anyone try to leave. Relief washes over So-hye until Tang Jung confirms the clan ruthlessly eliminates any member who attempts to leave. Tang Jung explains that deserters pose too great a risk to the secret techniques of the Tang family. Panicked, So-hye vehemently denies any desire to leave, while Tang Jung finds her transparent reaction rather amusing. Grabbing her chin, the elder sternly advises So-hye to learn the vital skill of masking her true thoughts. Tang Jung examines her closely, confirming that So-hye possesses absolutely no foundation in martial inner energy cultivation. A cold, firm grip remains on her jaw as So-hye stares up at the elder with visible, mounting dread. Dark, oppressive energy radiates from Tang Jung as he questions why she looks at him with such intense fear. Sensing genuine killing intent, a terrified So-hye frantically wonders if her questions about expulsion were considered unforgivably rude. So-hye stands frozen and trembling, her mind racing to process the sudden, heavy shift in the elder's demeanor. Tang Jung dismisses her ignorance as memory loss, providing So-hye a perfect excuse for her lack of clan knowledge. Playing along with the elder's suggestion, So-hye hesitantly claims she awoke one day with no memory of her past. Tang Jung nods knowingly, while So-hye privately reels at the realization that this insane clan routinely poisons its members. Their private conversation is interrupted as a silver-haired man in green robes enters to pay his respects to Tang Jung. The newcomer stops in his tracks, clearly stunned to find a familiar young maid inside the elder's private quarters. Tang Jung demands to know how a high-ranking young master could possibly recognize a lowly maid from the outer residence. The silver-haired man reveals a shocking truth, identifying So-hye as the youngest member of their direct family line. Confusion turns to recognition as Tang Jung mentions the name Choryan, a woman from 16 years in his father's past. Tang Jung reels from the sudden revelation, his expression hardening as the pieces of a long-hidden family secret finally align. A spectral vision of Choryan appears behind So-hye, confirming her identity as the daughter of the woman Tang Jung once knew. A massive surge of blue chi erupts from Tang Jung, nearly crushing So-hye and the silver-haired man with its weight. Consumed by a cold blue fire of rage, Tang Jung stares into the distance as his aura becomes increasingly unstable. A sharp, sudden whoosh sounds as Tang Jung's fury boils over, cursing the lunatics responsible for this cruel deception. The elder bellows in outrage, unable to fathom the sheer insanity of those who hid the truth about So-hye's lineage. Trembling under the pressure, the silver-haired man desperately pleads for his grandfather to regain control of his volatile anger. Tang Jung seethes, outraged that a rare poison-immune descendant was cast aside to serve as a mere household servant. Blue lightning crackles around Tang Jung as he realizes his own kin abandoned their direct blood out of cold indifference. Despair mingles with his rage as Tang Jung laments nearly killing a direct descendant with his own two hands. The crushing weight of the elder's chi becomes unbearable, leaving both So-hye and the silver-haired man gasping for air. A sharp, sudden cough sounds as the silver-haired man vomits blood, unable to endure the grandfather's overwhelming spiritual pressure. Vision blurring, So-hye watches the blood splatter on the floor as her own consciousness begins to fade rapidly away. So-hye collapses into darkness, her strength failing as the silver-haired man cries out in a final, desperate warning. A sharp, sudden gasp sounds as the silver-haired man reaches out, calling So-hye's name before the world goes black. So-hye awakens in a soft bed, finding Tang Jung watching over her with a somber and protective gaze. Bolting upright, So-hye is immediately restrained by Tang Jung, who gently insists she remain lying down to avoid dizziness. With a look of deep regret, Tang Jung offers a sincere apology for his disgraceful loss of self-control earlier. Tang Jung corrects her formal address, revealing his true identity as her great-grandfather and welcoming her into the family. The elder orders the silver-haired man to rest, noting that his weakened state makes him vulnerable to the cold. Lingering at the bedside, the silver-haired man expresses his sincere regret for misunderstanding So-hee's status for so long. Tang Jung remains firm, reminding the young master that his blocked meridians require him to prioritize his own recovery. The silver-haired man gently pets So-hye's head, bidding her a peaceful rest before finally withdrawing from the room. Watching him go, So-hee reflects on the deadly illness of blocked meridians that plagues her newly discovered half-brother. So-hee recalls her knowledge of martial arts tropes, realizing why the manager in her previous life explained this condition. A memory of a doctor confirms that only the wealthy can afford a diagnosis for such a rare spiritual ailment. The image of a pauper's lifeless feet underscores the grim reality that poor children often die undiagnosed and alone. Looking at the talented yet doomed silver-haired man, So-hye laments the cruel fate typically reserved for such fictional characters. Tang Jung prepares to leave, instructing So-hye to sleep there, though she reflexively tries to return to her servants' quarters. The elder stops her with a gesture, insisting that her frail body cannot endure another night sleeping on a floor. Sitting alone, So-hye contemplates her situation as the final puzzle pieces of her transmigration finally click into place. So-hye realizes she is the abandoned, illegitimate child of the Tang clan, gifted with a rare and powerful poison immunity. Looking at the insane clan around her, So-hye ironically realizes that she is now officially one of them herself. So-hye screams into the starry night sky, desperately wishing for someone to send her back to her previous life. Her attention is caught by rhythmic footsteps as So-hye follows Tang Jung, tentatively addressing him as grandfather while asking their destination. Tang Jung reveals they are heading to the clan head's hall, leaving So-hye startled by the sudden formal destination. They arrive at the grand entrance where two guards stand watch as Tang Jung approaches the stairs with determination. When a guard offers to announce him, Tang Jung dismisses the formality, finding the process far too annoying to bother with. A sharp whistle sounds as Tang Jung leaps away, prompting a guard's protest while So-hye feels a wave of pity. Entering the hall with So-hye in tow, Tang Jung calls out for Mu-hyuk to come forward and face him. The sound of a brush stopping abruptly echoes as the man inside halts his writing at the elder's sudden arrival. Seated at his desk, the clan head, Mu-hyuk, acknowledges his grandfather's arrival with a weary, formal greeting. Tang Jung presents So-hye as Mu-hyuk's daughter, declaring he will raise her himself while So-hye feels like an adopted pet. With a firm command, Tang Jung tells the clan head to simply accept his decision regarding the young girl's future. Mu-hyuk counters with a sharp frown, questioning the elder's hearing and demanding he not interfere with his own daughter's upbringing. Tense silence fills the hall as So-hye realizes she has made direct eye contact with her cold and formidable father. Facing his look of pure disgust, So-hye maintains a polite smile, inwardly noting that her kindness is fueled by fear. Mu-hyuk accuses the elder of stirring up trouble, while So-hye marvels at how quickly her father resorts to verbal aggression. Tang Jung retorts that the child was thrown into the outer city because of Mu-hyuk, his anger beginning to flare. He bellows that a once-in-a-century genius was left to rot in an outbuilding, his frustration with the clan's negligence mounting. Mu-hyuk defends his actions, claiming he fulfilled his duty by providing for the child and her mother to prevent starvation. Tang Jung scoffs at the excuse, finding the clan head's logic regarding men and their duties to be utterly exhausting. Surrounded by a dark, swirling aura, Mu-hyuk stands his ground, insisting that he was merely following the clan's established rules. The clan head questions if Tang Jung intends to trample his authority by insisting on taking the girl away. Crushing pressure fills the room as So-hye gasps for air, terrified that a father would openly threaten his own kin. A sudden whoosh sounds as Tang Jung's presence offsets the weight, allowing So-hye to breathe as he dismisses Mu-hyuk's authority. Tang Jung stares down the clan head, coldly advising Mu-hyuk to remember the true source of his power and position. A loud bang sounds as Mu-hyuk slams the desk in a fury, demanding to know the meaning of the elder's words. Tang Jung declares the matter final and commands So-hye to follow him, leaving the fuming clan head behind in his hall. So-hye follows with a dazed expression, her mind still reeling from the intense and terrifying confrontation she'd just witnessed. They walk in silence, So-hee watching the elders back as they put the oppressive atmosphere of the hall behind them. Back in the hall, a sharp crinkle sounds as Moo-hyuk's hand trembles with rage, crushing the paper beneath his grip. The clan head stares into the distance with a dark, brooding silence, his resentment toward the elders' interference clearly simmering. A rhythmic clicking sounds as Tae-jung and So-hee walk through the estate, the immediate danger of the hall fading. Stopping to check on her, Tae-jung asks the little one if she is all right after the frightening encounter. So-hee affirms she is fine, privately reflecting on her father's complete lack of responsibility and his icy, hateful demeanor. Tae-jung laughs heartily, patting her shoulder and noting that throwing a fit proves she is truly a member of the Tang. Noting his supportive attitude, So-hee feels a bit better, realizing that this eccentric elder is actually on her side. Tae-jung decides to cancel training for the day, suggesting they take a relaxing stroll to clear their heads instead. He suggests a trip to the back mountain, his cheerful expression contrasting his earlier fury toward the clan head. Surrounded by blooming flowers, a delighted So-hee eagerly agrees to the trip, her mood brightening at the thought of scenery. A soft crackle sounds underfoot as they arrive, and Tae-jung tells So-hee she can finally open her eyes now. So-hee gasps in wonder at the beautiful, sun-drenched woods, finding the vibrant greenery and flowers absolutely breathtaking. A soft rustle sounds as So-hee explores the flower-filled clearing, her heart filling with genuine joy at the peaceful surroundings. A sharp whoosh sounds as So-hee turns, hearing Tae-jung call her over to where he has settled down. A gentle pouring sound echoes as Tae-jung fills a bowl with green liquid, urging So-hee to drink and refresh herself. So-hee stares in disbelief, asking her grandfather if he just used his internal energy to boil the water for tea. She playfully asks if he can freeze water with ice arts, prompting Tae-jung to laugh at her cheeky curiosity. Tae-jung offers a knowing smile while holding his cup, enjoying the rare moment of quiet connection with his descendant. So-hee looks bewildered as Tae-jung mentions teaching her, recalling that only the greatest masters can perform such energy feats. Holding out the bowl, Tae-jung confirms he was completely serious about his earlier promise to personally train her. He explains that since the Tang blood flows through her, he cannot allow her incredible natural talent to go waste. Tae-jung declares he will teach her the poison arts, noting her immunity will make her training exceptionally fast. Tae-jung advises So-hee to keep her maid status for safety, warning her about Moo-hyuk's venomous third wife. So-hee gasps in shock at the revelation, while other maids in the background look on with confused expressions. Sitting under the lush canopy, So-hee admits to Tae-jung that she has no memory of her father's wives. A thud sounds as Tae-jung stands, explaining the clan's position as hegemons of Sichuan amidst other powerful sects. A snap sounds as Tae-jung breaks a branch while So-hee suggests increasing their military power to survive. Tae-jung chuckles at her strategic mind, agreeing that martial might is a formidable tool for control and respect. Using a stick, Tae-jung draws a map in the dirt to illustrate expanding influence throughout the region. So-hee correctly guesses that influence was secured through political marriages, earning a proud look from the dark-haired elder. A memory reveals Zhuge Moran, the clan head's first wife and the prestigious daughter of the powerful Zhuge clan. The second and third wives are introduced, representing alliances with a merchant guild and a wealthy grain-producing clan. The third wife stands amidst dark roses, her cold gaze and swirling green aura suggesting a deep hidden malice. Pointing to his dirt diagram, Tae-jung asks So-hee to analyze the strategic positions of the various rival clans. So-hee realizes the marriages were calculated moves to control goods, funds, and the overall regional balance of power. Tae-jung turns away somberly, confirming that every player in this family game is as calculating as the next. A sweeping view of the Grand Tang estate accompanies the warning that all wives desire total clan control. So-hee realizes her new status as the Grand Elder's disciple puts a massive target on her back in this house. Reassuringly, Tae-jung sips his tea and promises that no one in the clan will dare harm her under his protection. So-hee gives a side eye of doubt while Tae-jung finishes his drink, clearly worried about the upcoming family strife. Tae-jung declares that as a member of the direct line, So-hee must master literacy before learning advanced techniques. So-hee looks startled as she only expected to learn poison arts rather than boring academic character studies. Tae-jung shows her the reflection in his tea, explaining that poison and medicine share the same fundamental principles. Images of venomous creatures and medicinal herbs emphasize Tang Jung's point that healing is the precursor to mastering poison. A soft slurp sounds as Soye drinks her tea, internally groaning at the prospect of more schoolwork. Tang Jung misinterprets her look as anxiety, vowing to personally help her master the 1,000-character classic very soon. Tang Jung stands and commands they return, insisting Sohye has no time to play if she wants to learn. Protesting loudly, a chibi Sohye raises her fists while the stoic elder remains completely unmoved by her complaints. A soft rustle sounds as the scene transitions to the stone pathways and manicured trees of the inner estate. A tap sounds as Tang Jung carries Sohye across the rooftops, noting there is ample time for her studies. Looking at the shadows, Sohye wonders how he tracks time so accurately, and if she must learn that too. Both stop abruptly, their gazes sharpening as they sense something out of place near Sohee's modest living quarters. Tang Jung instructs Sohee to go inside alone while he takes a brief walk around the perimeter. A soft thud sounds as Sohye enters the room, intending to have a hot meal ready for her grandfather. A whoosh sounds as Tang Jung returns, finding Sohye busy arranging the dishes and greeting him with a smile. Tang Jung holds out an envelope, asking Sohye if the mysterious item left at her doorstep belongs to her. A thud sounds as Sohye drops the items on the table, discovering a heavy money pouch and a letter. A whoosh sounds as Tang Jung snatches the letter away, telling Sohye to wait while he inspects the contents. A sizzle sounds as Tang Jung's eyes glow blue with rage, causing the letter to spontaneously burst into flames. A crackle sounds as the paper turns to ash, Tang Jung coldly stating that the insult